And I'm a minute late. Well, that's all right. I just as I was taking the chicken out of the fridge, and away we go again. Hi there. Welcome everybody to a Wednesday tradition that we've been doing for the past couple of years, which we call Cast Iron Wednesday. A whole bunch of YouTube cooking channels, or at least the smaller cooking channels. Really haven't seen the big cooking channels do this. Have had a weekly tradition on a Wednesday of doing a video about cast iron, doing a cast iron cooking video or cast iron cleaning or collecting or restoration or just talking about cast iron. Yeah, and that's simply why we call it Cast Iron Wednesday, because it's a lot of fun and it gives us something to look forward to. I know I've been looking forward to it. Been doing this now for over 2 years, and I am always very glad to see people seem to like this well enough to come back week after week. So thank you very much to everybody for showing up. And thank you especially to the folks whose names I recognize here on the in the chat here. Hello, Papa Dan, for instance, and Honey Badger, and William Hurt, and Debbie, and my condolences for your neighbor. I do hope everybody was okay. And Kimberly Miller, and hello, Rhode Island Eats, and Rocket Caver, I think that says yes, and Val's Black Caps Rules. Hello, everybody. Thank you once again for showing up on our little weekly roundabout here on YouTube Live, where once again we are going to be playing around with some cast iron. And as I mentioned as the title of this video says, again, we are once again doing some fried chicken tonight. Now I know we did do fried chicken. When was this? Right around the middle of the beginning of the summer, I believe. At that time, but well, as somebody pointed out in the chat, well, it's a little bit different, largely because, hey, I'm getting to do this on my gas stove this week. Yes, this is yet another one of those. This is my first time doing this on the gas stove, so I do appreciate it if you don't mind me indulging like that. And besides, it's fried chicken. I mean, what's wrong with fried chicken? I mean, we can have fried chicken more than once, I would hope, especially since I went out of my way to do some preparations here. Um, I've got just about everything ready here already. I did my best to have the preparations done in it, most of the preparations done in advance. I only took the chicken out of the refrigerator about a minute or so ago, so no, it's there's no problem with that. Oh yeah, and I think maybe these eggs might be a little undercooked. Yeah, yeah. I just had these resting here as to go in for the dredging of the chicken, and we will get to that in just a minute. Meanwhile, let's get over to the star of the show here, which is pretty much the same player that we saw last week. Let's say hello again to the Birmingham Stove and Range, number 12 cast iron Dutch oven. Yeah, I figured we might as well bring this one out again, especially because, well, again, after last week where we did gumbo and all that, I mean, that certainly helped to improve the seasoning on this, and I figured we might as well do a little bit more here. So I've got some oil heating up in this. I actually have 4 quarts of oil in this pot, and yet, as you can see, there's a lot of room in here. So yeah, that just shows you again that this is one big freaking cast iron pot. Well, Mike M, my wife told me to take notes. Well, I'm hoping, I don't know if I'm that good a cook yet, but nonetheless, I can only appreciate it. Best I can say, as I said, I've got the oil is heating up here. We are at just going between 265 and 270, so we have a little ways to go yet. One thing I do when I fry chicken in cast iron, and I have done this a few times now, is that they say the standard temperature for frying is 350 degrees. Get the oil up to that hot. But I've had a lot of luck by actually bringing the oil to a somewhat higher temperature than that, like maybe between 365 and 375 degrees, largely because when the chicken goes into the oil, as you know, there is a big temperature drop. And I found that having the oil just a little bit hotter at the start goes a long way towards helping to compensate for that temperature drop when the oil goes into the oven, so that it's not too cold or the temperature doesn't go down too much. So instead of the temperature dropping to 300 or below, it tends to be about 325 or so, which is still a good cooking temperature. So as we've got the and like I said, this is a nice big cast iron pot. So fortunately, I'll be able to should be able to handle this batch of chicken. I'm only, quote unquote, only doing 8 pieces of chicken, but 8 should certainly be enough in this, especially since I do plan on doing a few other things as well. I've got some mushrooms in the fridge, and I thought I might as well fry those up too. I love fried mushrooms. And then after that, we'll be playing around a little bit more because, I mean, especially since it takes all of this effort, not to mention the cost of buying all this oil. I mean, I really want to get as much use out of this as possible. So that's why when I do a when I do deep fried chicken, I like doing more than just chicken if possible, as I said, so that way we can get to have some fun. Okay, but speaking of having some fun, let me say one more time, I guess, hello to everybody as well. Yes, hello, John A again, and there's that famous trivet. Which trivet? Oh, that trivet, this one here in the background. Yes, that one is is actually a made in China trivet. I'm afraid that that I acquired largely because, well, I like the design of it. So on the other hand, as I mentioned already, what we've got the egg sitting here in is a Birmingham Stove and Range six six wedge cornbread pan, which, as you can see, it's doing double duty tonight, doing double duty as well as helping to bring these eggs up to room temperature. So um, I've got, of course, a couple of racks, in fact, for the chicken and everything else. And now, instead of just, let me just make sure if I'm missing anything else in the chat. Did you share with your neighbors last week? I actually did not have the chance. I've got a lot of gumbo right now in the freezer. So yeah, that freezer is getting full already. That much I can say, unfortunately. And yeah, hello, Terry Sinchef and Bets. Burn that iron. That's what it's for, and that's what I intend to do. But now I think it's time to, instead of just standing here and talking, let's get some stuff done. As I mentioned, I did most of my prep work, but not quite all of it because I still have to finish. I guess I have to crack these eggs for one, so that we can have the dredge, as well as just finish mixing the breading. Fortunately, that part there will only take a few seconds. But let's get these eggs in here, shall we? Here we are. Give myself up a fork. Always forget something. Also, I need some place to throw the eggshells. So here we go. One. Boy, isn't this exciting? Oops, got some shell in there already. One. Means now I got to dig out the shell here. That was a terrible egg crack, unfortunately. And oh, good, it's stuck here. And a little bit more shell here. Yeah, this is always the fun part, digging little pieces of shell out. Which is why at least I'm glad this isn't going into a cake batter. Do we have all of the shell? Oh, here's the last bit. Okay, that's one. Let's see if we can't do a little better this time. Two, much better. Just needed to get into the groove here. Three. I followed the advice of Alton Brown when I was learning to cook, and if you'll notice, I always crack my eggs on the countertop and not on the side of the bowl. Alton's comment was that if you do that, if you try cracking the egg against the side of the bowl here, you are forcing tiny pieces of shell into the egg, or so he says. So I've taken that advice to heart. And well, I really have very little to complain about in regards to this method here of cracking eggs. I am still nowhere near a good enough cook or otherwise at food prep to be able to do the one-handed egg crack. I'm afraid that's one thing I guess I'm going to have to practice. Just get this going here a little bit. And the other thing, of course, is that since we are preparing fried chicken, there we go. Let me get a close up of all this. Since we're doing fried chicken here, not only are we just using eggs here, but let's throw in just a little bit of a shot of hot sauce. In this case, sriracha, to help spice this up a little bit. There we go. That should be enough. Boy, that sounded great, didn't it? And let's get this going. So this is definitely going to add a little bit of a kick. I keep missing the camera. This is going to be adding a little bit of kick here to the to the chicken. And that is part one. Now comes part two. Well, technically this part is part one here. Let's see what we say here. Hello, Louis J. Cast Iron Cooking. Oh, I'm enjoying the stove very much. Thank you very much. And Janet Batista, I use a spoon, knife, or fork to crack my eggs. Yes, exactly. As they say, whatever works. And here we go. We've got 2 cups of flour, to which I've also added about a quarter cup as well of cornstarch. That is one of the well, not exactly secret, but one of the tricks you can get for getting a nice crisp crust on your chicken. So, as I said, that's cornstarch, or some people use tapioca starch or potato starch. The point is the starch, just that, it helps bind the crust onto the chicken so that it's nice and crunchy and it doesn't just come off. And from there, I did prepare my seasoning in advance, fortunately. So I'm not going to spend 10 minutes or so mixing together the seasoning. And you can, of course, get any recipe you want for, for fried chicken breading seasoning, like that famous one that's been going around for a decade or so on the internet, which claims to be the original KFC recipe. I've doubted that right from the beginning that it's actually the so-called secret KFC recipe. And the reason why I doubt is because you got to figure KFC is a corporation and they have their own standards when it comes to their food prep. So like it or not, I feel pretty certain that their actual breading for their chicken does not contain all natural ingredients. There are probably some preservatives and who knows what else in there. So, nonetheless, that recipe for the KFC recipe fried chicken that goes around on the internet is a pretty good recipe, and there's no reason not to follow it. So, anyway, we've got our breading here on one hand. And having done that, I should say I actually prepared a second bit of the seasoning because what we're going to do is coat the chicken. Let me move this cover out of the way. And this pan has done its duty. So we will get this out of the way. Everything in its place. All right. So now that we've done that, time to bring out the chicken, which I've actually had soaking in buttermilk for the last couple of days. So here's hoping that this turns out to be a nice, juicy chicken. And once this is done, I'm going to try to reuse some of this extra buttermilk as well. Maybe like make hush puppies or something with the extra batter. So here comes our chicken. I actually, whoops, careful. I cut up some leg quarters for this chicken. And that, of course, that leg quarters are almost always the least expensive chicken pieces you can get at the store. usually less expensive than buying the drumsticks and thighs by themselves. And besides, I love dark meat. So I just simply got some chicken leg quarters, cut them up, and here's the result. The nice thing about that is I actually have extra pieces that are still in the freezer that I can take out for making chicken soup, like this winter or so. So we've got plenty here. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let me move the camera over a little bit so that we've got a better view. My apologies for that, folks. There we go. All right. Let's see, one more piece here. So not only do we have 8 pieces of chicken, but I managed to cut a couple of little nuggets off as well. So we are going to have plenty of chicken. There we go. That should be all of it. Yeah, that's all of that. Like I said, I'm going to save this buttermilk, and I'm going to see if I can reuse it, maybe making some hush puppies with it. Mix it in with the extra breading and fry that after we're done. But right now, as I mentioned, I made a second batch of the seasoning, especially so that we can coat this chicken even before it goes into the breading. So that, yeah, I want this chicken to be nice and flavorful. What can I say? A little bit here, a little bit there. And now we got to flip this over. If I don't coat all of the chicken with this, that's all right because it is about to go into the breading also anyway. So this is really just to kind of like get some extra flavoring into it. And of course, again, as well, everything has gotten, the price of everything has gone up these days to the point where if you, again, just like with the pizza, we mentioned how it seems to cost like about 25 or $30, it seems like, for pizza delivery these days. You can be sure that if you get yourself a family bucket of chicken at KFC, unfortunately, you're probably going to end up paying about that much as well for the family bucket meal. So this is definitely going to save some money as well. I didn't seem to get all of it, but that's okay because we're not done yet. This is, as I mentioned, now comes the real fun part. Of course, now that I've done this, got to change my racks around a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do this right. Here we go. That's not exactly how I planned it, but it'll work. Okay, now from here, let's see if I can move my view around a little bit so that we can do the breading and the dredging. This out of the way. And here we are. Is this okay? Good. And here is that. Okay. Let's move over here a little bit. There we go. I think that should do. And now, here we go. We start with, let's throw in at least 1, 2, 3, and turn it over, turn it over, turn it over. Boy, is this exciting, I know. Then, of course, dum, dum, yeah, I'm trying to do it this way, because of course as well the this breading here tends to get wet from the dredge. So I'm seeing if doing all of the chicken in these stages might help to conserve the breading. Well, I have to say this doesn't look too bad in itself. There are these little pieces here. And this is not taking too long, fortunately. In fact, I can throw in one more piece of chicken as well. Just coat this. But again, one way to get a good crisp crust is to double dip. That's why I'm not done yet. Also trying to do this as quickly as possible. And also, once again, making a big mess. There's really no way not to make a mess, it seems like, when you make fried chicken. So you just prepare for it as best as you can. And one more, and one more. Oh, and this little piece over here as well. So whoever's wife is taking notes, well, I'm hoping this helps. As I said, I don't consider myself an expert in anything, but I have done this a few times and it's been a lot of fun. As I mentioned already, this is only step one because from here we do the dredging now. Means we take our chicken, one, go, two, three. So far, so good. All right, actually, let's do this. Now, here's the part with the other part that we get to do. Shake and bake. Yeah, try not to get the breading all over everything, why don't I? Okay, so one, come on, two, three. I reserve one hand notice as well for the breading. It's inevitable. So, okay, all right. And while we're doing this, the oil is heating up too. So we're actually doing pretty good here. Okay, here's two and three. All right. Okay, I think my mistake is I have to be sure to get this cover on good and tight. That was my mistake. There we go. Much better. Shake and bake. 4, 5, 6. Now come the last two pieces. Plus these extra chicken nuggets. And yeah, that's right. I believe somebody pointed out, I could have used tongs for this, but I think it actually goes a little faster if I just use my hands. Because, well, all I have to do is wash my hands. You can see I got breading all over everything. That's all right. It's my countertop, my kitchen, so it's my mess, and I will clean it up. That's one thing I'm very glad about as well, living on my own again. I made sure to get back into the habit always cleaning up my mess immediately. No more laying around, letting things sit. So far, I can't believe it's been almost 2 months here in my new home. So far, that's actually been working quite well. But there we are. Here's our chicken. Got all this extra breading, which we're not done with yet anyway. As I mentioned, I got to do some mushrooms. But give me a second, please, to wash my hands. So yeah, I took a lot of lessons, like quite a few folks I know, from Alton Brown as far as learning how to cook, including his tips on frying chicken. Although, interestingly enough, he did not mention double dipping. I learned that one a little somewhere else. And one thing I do remember from Alton Brown, though, is that, as he says, this chicken here, we can't leave it in too long because this stuff, as he puts it, is like a cousin of library paste. So I think it's time to. Oh, here it goes again. Stupid tripod. All right, there we go. Do believe it's time to head back to our pot. And let's take a look and see how hot it's gotten. We're getting close, I'll say that much. 338, 352, 354. We are almost there. Give it about another minute or so, because like I said, I'd like to get this to maybe 365 to 375. In fact, that means I think I can even turn the heat up a little bit. Yay, yes indeed. I do enjoy having a gas stove here. So I've got about another minute. Let's check some of these comments here. As I said, please feel free to be snarky. I don't mind that at all. I season somewhere over the rainbow. Hello. I season chicken dip in milk or milk and egg and then self-rising flour. Pat hard. Let's sit 10 minutes to dry so that the coating won't fall off. That's certainly possible. I guess Shadow Walker XM. I guess I've been lucky when it comes to eggs. Fingers crossed. I've never had a bad one. Oh, and I do flour. It all goes together good. Joseph Ortiz, that chicken got so messy. I see every wife in this life having an anxiety attack. Yes, tell me about it. I know. I got that breading all over everything, didn't I? Well, it's my kitchen, and like I said, I'll clean it up. And I guess that's one good thing about being by myself, in that nobody's gonna beat me up for it. But I will clean up my mess. That was my fault. Thank you for sharing your spice seasoning mix. A Ziploc bag works great for that. Yeah, all of these are lessons that I should have learned by now. No question about that. So, what Dutch oven are you using, Louis J? This is the BSR number 12. It's a Century Series BSR number 12. So this thing is big. Oh, I forgot the egg for the last two pieces and nuggets. No, I thought I dredged them all. Nonetheless, okay. I am so clean up so I can sit down to eat. Okay. All right. Let's check this temperature one last time. And we are just about there still. As I said, I still want to get it just a tiny bit more yet. As I said, maybe 365 to 370 is where I want to go. 375 would be about the max. Boneless chicken cooks faster. Yes, I'll be certain to take those nuggets out before the rest of the chicken, definitely. And so anyway, as I said, this is a BSR number 12 Century Series Dutch oven, and I believe it's the early Century Series, the kind that has just the number 12, the mark of the Red Mountain. But I know it's not a Red Mountain, largely because the font is different. The font of the number 12, the writing style of the number 12, that matches the later Century Series. It does not match the font we see in the older Red Mountain series. So that's why I think this is an earlier Century pot. The lid, on the other hand, which I have sitting over here, I'm not sure even if we're going to be using it tonight, but the lid is a genuine Red Mountain lid. So it's something I'm quite proud of. Bourbon maple, 1 stick of butter. Okay. No, I'm pretty sure I did not forget to egg the last few pieces. I'm double checking and taking a look at them right now. And they all look like they have dredge on them. All right, I think we are getting there. We've passed 370. So I would say we are doing pretty good, which means time to fry. As the gentleman once said, I believe I can fry. And away we go. All right, for this, I think I will get out the tongs nonetheless, largely because I don't trust myself. I don't think I can fit 8 pieces of chicken all in at once. So there's one. Yeah, that's why I don't trust myself. Okay, 1, 2. I really do not want the stuff to splash. 3. Boy, I mean, lean over a little bit with the mic so you can hear that. That's 3 pieces. 4 pieces. Holy cow, is that going crazy? 5. Interestingly enough, when Alton did his frying in a 12-inch skillet, he did 5 pieces. Of course, the really good thing about this being a Dutch oven, we have all of this extra space here that's going to cut out at least some of the splatter. So I'm happy about that. In fact, I think I can even throw in the nuggets, this little piece here, that little piece there, this one here, and finally this tiny piece. So there are 3 pieces left for us to fry yet, but this should not take very long. I actually learned one lesson from, I mentioned this guy before, someone who I've known on YouTube for a long time. He calls himself the Deep Fry King. He's a Texas redneck and proud of it. He does a lot of deep frying in his cast iron. And as he points out, when the chicken starts to float, you know it's done. So that is something I will definitely keep in mind here. Oh, while we're waiting, by the way, I'm going to also wash off this rack here because it was commented before on my last chicken frying video. You put the chicken back on the rack where the raw chicken had been. Now, I said then, and I still stand by this, that I think that I don't believe that was any problem at all. Number one, that was hot chicken, coming out of that boiling oil, and it was definitely hot enough to kill any bacteria that it would have touched. So that's why I knew there would not be any contamination. Number 2, and even though this may upset some people, I believe chicken contamination is overrated. No, I did not say it does not exist. It exists. Salmonella is real, yes. But I believe chicken contamination is overrated in that raw chicken is not a bacteria bomb that is going to contaminate your entire entire kitchen just from being out there. You do, of course, still want to do things like wash off your surfaces, wash your hands, and so on and so forth. But as I said, I don't believe that chicken is going to contaminate everything. So that's another reason why I was not too worried. Nonetheless, I still washed off this rack. So when this chicken comes out, it's going to go onto a clean rack. All right. And let's see here. Get this out of the way. Drain some of this off as well. I'd say this looks like it's going pretty good already. Now, we will prepare for this as well by laying a paper towel over the tray to catch the drippings. All right, there we go. So now this will be ready for when the chicken comes out of there. Okay, what do we have here? Meanwhile, as well, Bob S. After the chicken is done, add enough flour or breadcrumbs to the chicken dip to make it doughy. Roll into balls, deep fry, and you'll have hush puppies. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking of doing. No question about that. What are we cooking? Hello, Nessus River Catfishing. We are doing some fried chicken tonight. Yeah, I know. I did fried chicken a couple of months ago, yes. But on one hand, I don't think anybody minds fried chicken more than once. On the other hand, this is yet another in my series of, oh boy, I get to do this for the first time on my gas stove. And yeah, this gas stove is heating up this oil really good too. I mean, this thing is bubbling away like no tomorrow. So That means, even though I mean, it's only been a few minutes. I really don't want to underestimate this. As I said, it's when the chicken starts to float, then we know that it's done. So I know it's not done yet, but I've got out my thermometer so that when it gets close to the time, we'll be able to check this chicken. I did leg quarters here, meaning that this is all dark meat because I love dark meat. And that means I'm going to try to aim for a chicken temperature of like maybe 175 to even 180. Because again, this is not white meat. This is not breast meat. I think the dark meat does better at a higher temperature. So that's why I'm going to do that well yet. Have you tried Phil's Chicken in the West End near Vestal? I am not sure. I have to say I don't recognize the name, so I have to say I don't think I have yet. On the other hand, I'm a little bit disappointed because within walking distance of my home, there is a Crown Fried Chicken. And I've mentioned before how I enjoy Crown Fried Chicken, except this Crown Fried Chicken, unfortunately, has regularly served some of the worst chicken I've ever had, unfortunately. The problem is they heat it too high. I'm betting they probably leave the oil burner, the burner running all day. And by the time I get there in the evening, that oil temperature is way too high because I've consistently gotten burned chicken and burned fries from them. And yeah, it's not easy really to burn fried chicken, is it? So I'm sorry to say that because I like Crown Fried Chicken. That's yet another reason why I'm making my own chicken here. I want chicken, and I would rather have chicken that I can control and I can do my best to, well, again, to try to prepare the way I want it. Yeah, all about me. Well, have some advantages for cooking, being the person doing the cooking. Now, if I were to take one of these out right now, as I said, I know it's still early yet, but if I take one, let's try this. No, that's the nuggets. That's right. The nuggets we're supposed to take out early anyway. Let's take a look here. If I stick it in, currently oh yeah, this thing is, oh boy, I think, matter of fact, believe it or not, I do believe these nuggets are already ready. So let me throw this onto the rack. Yeah, the nugget, when I put the thermometer in, it just shot up. So we already have a couple of nice little chicken nuggets here, like this piece here. So 8 pieces of chicken plus about 4 or 5 nuggets, tiny nuggets, but still nuggets. So yeah, if we went to KFC, you can only imagine how much that would cost. Did I get all of them? Making sure I didn't miss it. Supposed to be floating. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Now, on the other hand, see if we can very carefully wipe this thing off. Try checking one of the regular pieces of chicken. And here, currently the temperature now is, well, actually it's dropping back down to below 100 degrees. So at least, oh, over here though, it's going up to about 125. Okay, so that definitely means we have a little ways to go yet. And this is why, again, just watching the temperature, using temperature control is essential. I think I could say that as well. That's a lesson I learned, and I'm very proud to have learned within the last few years or so, in that cooking with a thermometer is probably the safest way to guarantee that you will not have overcooked or undercooked meat, poultry, pretty much any kind of meat. So whether you're doing chicken, beef, pork, I mean, using a cooking thermometer is essential. I'm not saying optional, I'm saying essential. Especially considering we've got a certain holiday coming up in a couple of months, you know, the one with all the turkey and stuff things. Yeah, I've said that before in my Thanksgiving turkey videos. Um, Use a cooking thermometer, and I will repeat that as many times as I need to until somebody at least gets the hint and starts using a thermometer on their poultry or their prime rib or their roast pork. I mean, hi, and Papa Dan watching and getting hungry. I haven't eaten yet. Did you set a plate for me? Apple cider at cider mill, we went all the time. Yeah, temperature your meat. Check your meat to avoid any bone and temperature at the thickest part. Yes, you don't want the thermometer to touch bone. That's true. That will give a false reading. So saying that, you know, I think they're starting to float. So let's grab one here. Boy, look at this, by the way. And if I carefully insert the thermometer, right now it is going, right now we're at about 145, it says, 147. Yeah, so we're just over 145. We're getting close. We have maybe a couple more minutes yet. And actually, I've got 3 more pieces to cook as well. But once that second batch is in, I'm going to start preparing something else. Oh, however, since this is cooled off enough, hey, look, here's one of these chicken nuggets. I get to try it. I'm happy. Oh, yeah. Why do I always say that? I always go, oh, yeah. I guess it's instinct. But, oh, this tastes good. All right. Nom, 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 nom. Cynthia Wesley, I have it wrote down from where I found something. Let me look. Oh, I see. A skillet that you found. Oh, good luck. Please describe it, and we will see if we can identify it for you. Yeah, I'm going to town on this nugget. Somewhere over the rainbow. Have you moved yet? If you're referring to me, well, I'm pleased to say I'm approaching my 2nd month in my new home here. So I can't believe it's been almost 2 months already. While we're at it as well, let me dig something else out of the fridge, and that would be these mushrooms here. I'm thinking of giving that a try. At this point, if you don't make these sounds after trying your food, it doesn't have the same effect. Well, again, thank you for the good word. All right, let's try this chicken once again. And notice I'm reaching for one that's deep down here, not one on the surface. Ooh, this one really looks done, doesn't it? Okay, carefully put in our thermometer. And it is going 153, 163, 165. Okay, so technically it's done. But as I mentioned, I was shooting for about 175 or so. So I don't think we're still not quite done yet. Gotta have some patience here. Meaning me. I'm the one doing the cooking here. I need to have a little bit of patience. That's all right. We are doing pretty good so far. And it's some Lodge Legacy series. What is the Wagner breakfast skillet divided into 3 sections? Lodge did re-release one of their section pans as part of their Legacy series. Yes, I think their Legacy series they only did about 3 pans, and that section skillet was one of them. I have my Wagner. Since he was, I know it, Bob asked. I always had the intention to eat before the show, but it doesn't seem to work out. Oh well, I'm sorry I'm making you hungry. No, I'm not. I'm glad to be making you hungry because that means, well, that should mean that this is a success. But yeah, well, what can I say? I really enjoyed those nuggets. All right. As I mentioned, I think we were getting close at that point. So let's pull this. Let's pull this piece out. This is a thick piece too. Let the oil drain off a little bit. Just don't want to hit the bone. And I don't think that was right. There we go. I think I've got it now. And oh yeah, 163, 160. Really? Interesting. Okay. And over here, we've got 165 here. It's going 174. All right. All right, then. I'm going to give it one more minute period, and then I will call these done. Then we throw in these last three. And while we're doing that, I think I will quickly prepare some mushrooms as well. Mm. No complaints about these nuggets, though, I'll say that. Wow. Mm. All right. And here we go. Move this over here. Put this rack over here. Yeah, when I was using the deep fryers, I was able to get more than 5 pieces of chicken at a time. I'm feeling a little spoiled, in fact. So, I mean, I love this Dutch oven. And in fact, you can bet there's a big advantage in the fact that, again, it's a Dutch oven. Wow, this is a big piece of chicken. Meaning that, again, it's cutting down on a lot of the splatter. Though those deep fryers definitely, I would say, if you're into deep frying, you definitely get your money's worth. On the other hand, this is a great Dutch oven and it's not doing a bad job deep frying at all. Besides, you can use this thing for so many other things. So there we are. Off to a decent start so far. And now, before this oil gets too hot, let's very quickly, there's those other 3 pieces of chicken. Oh yeah, that's right. Before I even put the other ones in, I better make sure the oil hasn't become too cold. Well, if I run it right now, yeah, the as a matter of fact, the oil temperature seems to have dropped to just about 300 degrees, in fact. So it looks like I do have a little bit of time. Cool. That means, in addition to this, here we go with some mushrooms because I love mushrooms. And yes, it's been said before, no, I don't wash my mushrooms. I do not feel there is any need for it. All right, that means, how am I going to do this? We will just very quickly, I think. Can we see over here? Good, we can see over here. Let's throw some of these. You see, the so-called dirt on the mushrooms are actually spores, and they dissolve instantly. It seems like whenever I cook them, I have never, and I mean never, when making mushrooms all these years, I have never had any instances of there being grit or dirt or anything in my mushrooms. So that's why I'm convinced that there's really nothing to worry about, uh, and that's why I just simply don't wash my mushrooms. And if you come over to visit, I will be more than happy to cook some mushrooms for you and definitely eat them myself as well. After all, as I mentioned, I'm living by myself here. Who do you think is going to be eating these mushrooms? These mushrooms right here, that is. So, all right, now from here, we get to throw this in the breading. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be eating for the next several days after this. Okay, seal this nice and tight so I don't make a mess. See, I'm not making a mess this time. And here we go. One, two, three. This one I need to toss a little bit more. Four, five, six, seven. And then after this chicken and these mushrooms are done, I'm going to do something a little bit silly. On one hand, I was thinking of maybe also making some mozzarella sticks. On the other hand, I'm thinking, well, you know what? Something I've wanted to do for a while, something silly. Take literally a whole big block of mozzarella and deep fry the whole thing. Not sticks, not pieces, but a whole big brick of mozzarella, all deep fried at once, just to see how it turns out. And why not? I'm the one doing the cooking here. I'm the one making the mess in my kitchen. Why not? Is this thing okay? Now checking the temperature here. Whoa. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, this cooking thermometer has a 212-degree alarm. It definitely reached that. My bad. Um, Let me turn this up a little bit. Hold on. Oh, shut up. Okay. Let me increase this temperature. In fact, I was using it to check the oil, and it definitely went past 212 degrees. That's for sure. So let's set it for the temperature that I'm looking for, which would be about 370. And let me get this back over here so that you can see the cast iron again. Why not? There's already gunk in the pot here because of the last bit of frying, so that's inevitable. But let's dip in our thermometer and see what it says. 237, 282, 298, 309, 316, 320. Oh, 324. It sounds like it's slowing down, which means we've got 325, 327. So unfortunately, it looks like we still have a few minutes yet before this oil gets up to the right temperature, unfortunately. So we're getting close. We are not quite there yet. That means time to take a look again at the comments. Ah, yes. I read. Uh, I'm just here to read the comments. Oh, into the comments you go. Faith in humanity you will lose. Hello, John Agan. Getting a tad chilly here in the neighborhoods. Colors are beautiful, but stop by local farmers market. We've got all the fixings for corned beef and cabbage. Oh, you're yes, indeed. Making corned beef and cabbage in a Dutch oven. There really is no better way to do it. Some people like to smoke it, but I'm quite happy with doing it in a Dutch oven. So. And if it is dirt, it's not dirt. Oh, If it's dirt, it's not dirt, it's manure, sterilized. So mushroom spawn is autoclaved peat moss. Um, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not a mushroom expert. I just eat them. I believe the new series from Lodge is possibly another wilderness series. Yes, they're supposed to be doing another series tomorrow. And I have to be honest, I was not especially impressed with the design of that series they released last year, the one with the campers and the camper on it. I mean, I know people who do their camping probably enjoyed it, but I was rather much more intrigued by the Rosie the Riveter skillet last year and the American flag skillet this year. Also, the Lady Liberty skillet from Cracker Barrel. But yeah, Lodge has definitely catered to the more to the to the collector's market over the last few years. Cenobite Sorcerer 666. I love Cast Iron and Chaos. Well, you're definitely going to get both of that on this channel, that's for sure, as the folks here will tell you that. Chaos of pretty much any kind you can think of, including the unexpected, which happens more often than I would like. Yeah. Okay, and for starters, it looks like I accidentally clicked something on the mouse. There we go. Okay, now let's see what's happening now because I see we're actually starting to get some bubbles in this, probably from all the other gunk. So if I check the temperature once again, we're at 297, 311. I'm not touching the bottom of the pan, by the way. No, I know that would, again, give a false reading. 336. Oh, come on. 338. So you mean we're still not there yet? 343. Oh, and what's more, well, the nice thing is that this seems to be a pretty even temperature here. Probably because I leveled the stove a couple of weeks ago. As a result, the oil is not tipping and we are not getting hot spots in it. I'm actually liking that. Let me say that again, folks. A couple of weeks ago, I used a level. I adjusted the legs on my stove, especially so that it would be even, so that the oil would not run to one side of the pan. Since then, I made a cake in a cast iron bundt pan, and that cake turned out to be absolutely even on the top. It did not have a bulge in the center. And now again, look at this. As I said, I am right now running the thermometer to different parts of the oil, and the oil seems to be heating up pretty evenly at this point. We are just about to pass 350, but like I said, I want to get to maybe 365 or so. So this leveling the stove is having a much greater effect than I ever expected. I mean, as I said, I leveled the stove because it was an annoyance that the oil would run down to one side of the pan. But since then, again, this is another effect of leveling the stove that I definitely was not expecting. I'm I'm impressed, not with myself, but with what has happened here. So let me say that again, folks. Check your stove level. Get a level, check your stove, and adjust the legs on the stove. Just about any stove has legs that can easily be adjusted with a wrench. Most of those, yeah, just about anyone has, yeah, just that. The legs are adjustable. Take a few minutes and do it. I've had a couple of really good results that, as I just showed you now, that I did not expect. And I'm considering that to be a really, really advantage here. So please, yeah, do it. Level your stove. Yeah, lots to be said for leveling the machines and other equipment. Yes, indeed, Papa Dan. I tried the thrift store that you told me about next to Dirt Cheap. I struck out. Oh, well, my condolences about that. It is a must to level your stove. It just helps in every cooking aspect. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I only just learned this now, and boy, am I so glad to have learned it. It is really one of those kitchen hacks that that more people should do because I had not even heard of that until I decided to do that. So I have a level on my phone. You need to turn your fire up just a little bit. Well, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, because it's true that I'm not even up at at high heat here on this gas stove, but I have just turned it up. And anyway, we had just passed 350, so I'd say we should be about ready for the next step. And thank you again, everybody, for waiting around, especially since it's been an hour already. But let's see what happens now. Okay, 273, 302. Like I said, I'm moving the set thermometer around. 343, 352, 358, 360, 361. We are getting pretty darn close. All right, like I said, I'm going to give it once again, about 1 minute, and then we'll finally get on to the next step. So thank you again for waiting around. Um, Other than that, though, folks, of course, feel free to ask questions and answer questions. And otherwise, keep ourselves occupied because that's really the best way to enjoy ourselves here. And thank you so much. Yes, Rocket Caver, as I said, I did turn the stove up. And congrats on the new home. Oh, thank you very much. Did you think to get that no, you can call occasionally. Oh, that's talking to Papa Dan. Sorry about that. And hello, I can't pronounce this. Amagio. And okay, well, welcome back then. I'm glad to see you here again. So, show us some leg. Okay, let's show you some leg, folks. In fact, not only are we going to show you some leg, where did those tongs go? Here they go. Not only are we going to show you some leg, this one, we're also going to show you some thigh as well. You know, so we're going to flash you some thigh to go with it. Oh, this is a nice big piece coming up here too. Look at it go. Oh, it looks like I missed one of those nuggets. So here comes one more piece, and now come the mushrooms, which, if you notice, are round and they got a nice little phallic point on the end. So yank, 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 flop, flop. The nuggets don't sink; they're going to float on top. That's good. Wow, this is really going crazy now. Okay, that takes care of that. It's actually not really going to be that hard to clean up this mess. I mean, yes, it is dust from all of that from all of that breading, but still, that's really not too hard to sweep up. It's not like I spilled a big pot of oil or anything. Which, by the way, I make sure I better not do that. All right, let's try turning these mushrooms over. I'm betting it's good. If it takes more than a minute or so to cook these mushrooms, I'll be surprised. In fact, it's going to probably take longer to cook the breading than it is to cook the mushrooms. And then once we do that, as I mentioned, I've got one silly little thing as well, and that is to deep fry. Oh, I heard something. Sounds like maybe an air pocket must have popped. Deep fry a nice block of mozzarella just because I can. Although I admit it's kind of inspired as well by another YouTuber who I've been following, and I've mentioned this kid's name before, Omnivorous Adam. You remember him? I started following him back when he was only just passing 1,000 subscribers, just at the beginning of his channel. He has become really practically a YouTube superstar. His channel has rocketed past 100,000 subscribers. Congratulations to Omnivorous Adam for that. And he does some great stuff too. He's one of those cooks, down to earth type of cooks who makes recipes and dishes that you want to cook, that I want to cook. Because, as much as I enjoy Josh Wiseman, or who's the other one who cooks a lot of fictional food? Oh, Babish, that's it. I mean, as much as I like their show, their cooking channels, really, it's like do they they make impossible dishes that I'm never going to be able to equal, and using methods that I'm never going to be able to duplicate. Hey, let's scrape off some vanilla beans. Even though how much, even though vanilla bean. I see that spammer coming up. Hold on, let me take care of that for right now. Hide user. There you go. And it's got to be put user in timeout. Okay. All right. I've already taken care of that, fortunately. Strangely enough, I don't see why there's no option to simply ban it. I mean, when I click on the options here, there's the thing to put user in timeout and hide user, but I don't actually see a ban. Oh well, it's hidden, so you can't see it anyway. So anyway, yeah, breasts and legs triggered spam. I'll bet you're right. But I'm not going to tell you to stop doing that, because spam is a way of life here on YouTube, unfortunately. Every single video that I post, and it's going to happen with this one too when we're finished. Uh, Porn spammers will show up almost immediately after this video is posted and post links in the comments. The ones, and yet they're always in a foreign language too. I don't know why, but unfortunately, that's been happening, regrettably. So, okay, having done that, I have no doubt whatsoever that these mushrooms are already done. So let's pull out the mushrooms. Nice crispy mushroom here. Love mushrooms. I'm a hobbit at heart. I mean, they mention mushrooms in the Lord of the Rings movies, but if you read the Lord of the Rings books, you'll know that hobbits have a passion for mushrooms. They go crazy over mushrooms, which is another reason why I always said my mother was a hobbit. She was short. She loved mushrooms. She also loved chicken. Yeah, I still think of mom a lot when I cook chicken. Okay, having done all that, I'm not so sure if the chicken is getting close to done yet, but Debbie, that's why I heard Bob asked. I had a neighbor tried to raise them, and then the water was clean. Oh, okay. Hope you're all doing well. Hello, Jose Latias. Nice to see you again. Glad you're here. Tastes wonderful, just not raised clean water, I guess. I've always loved mushrooms. I mean, since infancy. So have I. I mean, there's some. I've never shied away from mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Can't get enough of them, which is why I just simply had to cook some tonight as well. And having done that, let me see if I have a few minutes. I might actually go for the next step, even while this is in the while this chicken is still cooking. If I have a few minutes, I did turn the heat up, so let's see how close to done this chicken is getting, especially since we only have 3 pieces in here. Whoa, gotta watch myself here. Okay. And this is going right now at 135, 136, 136. So we still have a few minutes yet. I think there's enough time, even while this is going, for me to do the next step. Since we're already past an hour here, I don't think I can waste too much time. So, oh boy, you heard that? Something's going on. Anyway, while that's happening, let's see. Time to do something silly, I think, and that is mozzarella cheese. And I just realized I did forget something. I forgot some scissors, so I had better pull out a knife. I think I did the same thing last week. Forgot my scissors last week as well. Carefully. Got a knife here. Yay for a sharp knife. Throw this out as quickly as I can. Whoops, I guess this won't get any further. Okay, then let's raise this up a little bit. And as quickly as we can, let's throw this. Actually, let me move this over so you can see it. Throw this into the wet. And yeah, I'm using my hand again. And we will throw it into the dry. But anyway, what I was saying about Omnivorous Adam, he did a video, what was it, maybe a month, maybe 2 months ago, where he actually took 3 of these blocks of mozzarella and stuck them all together to make one huge mozzarella stick, and then he deep fried the whole thing. And he said it turned out fantastic. Come on. So, there we go, more or less. Yeah, now we're starting to get somewhere. I think I will leave it in the dredge, in fact, or leave it in the breading at the moment while I quickly wash my hands. And then let's turn our attention back to the chicken, where things are hopping, literally. All right, where do those tongs go again? Oh, I keep misplacing them. Here they are. All right. Take a look once again, see what we have. Let some of this drip off. And 117, 135, 138, 138. You gotta be, that can't be right. All right, let's try over here. Carefully. 153, and then that drops back to 135. That can't be right. 118? All right, let me put this back in here. All right, let's check this one. Again, I don't want to touch the bone. This one here shows 147, 154, 154, 156. So it's still not done yet, unfortunately, but we are getting close. All right, so again, I would say we probably only have about another minute or so. So thank you again for waiting all this time. And then from here, let me try this mushroom. I told you I love mushrooms. Whoa. Anyway, let me try this mushroom here. Mmm. Oh, yeah. Mmm. Mmm. Gee, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have another one. Oh. Mm. Oh, yeah. Mm. Mm. Maybe I shouldn't have even made the chicken. Maybe I should have just made these deep fried mushrooms. Oh, man, that was good. Anyway, thank you for reporting the spammer Midnight Lacy. All those good-looking pizzas you make gotta have mushrooms. Oh, he doesn't like mushrooms? So, my condolences. I mean, everybody has their taste, yes. It's hard to imagine somebody not liking mushrooms, but, well, as I said, to each their own. Okay, I mean, for instance, me, I am not crazy about olives. I've never liked olives, even though I have an Italian heritage. So it's different for everyone. Oh yeah, I forgot. This one was actually a nugget, which means this is probably more than done. If I do this one, the temperature, oh yeah, this one's definitely done. This one's actually hit 200. Oops. Fortunately, it's dark meat, which is why, again, I'm glad that I made dark meat. There's no way this could have to be underdone by now. I mean, just look at this. All right. If I stick this in carefully, we see 147, 172, 180. Okay, yeah, this one's done. That's a good sign there for our chicken, I think. All right, so that means we can get this out of the way. And one more. And then we just have to wait for the oil to heat up at least to 350. This time we're doing cheese, not chicken. So I'm hoping just heating it to 350 should be enough. But all right, let me move some of these things out of the way carefully. Yeah, I've got a mess to clean up. It happens every time I fry chicken. But again, that was my choice. Nonetheless, look at what we did. And I say we, and that you folks, you helped, you supervised, you commented. So look at this. We got ourselves some chicken. What I should do is take a couple of pictures. All right. The money shot, as you might call it. So that means, oh yeah, chicken. There we go. So far, so good. My granddaughter doesn't like mushrooms, says Terry Sinchef. Sometimes I wonder if she's related to me. I know if I can learn just how to eat asparagus. I had some one time. It was horrible. It was out of the can. That must be why. I love asparagus myself. So yeah. Everybody has something that they don't like. I mean, that's really pretty much how it is. And all right, let me check this one more time. This last thing is definitely not going to take as long to deep fry either, because it's cheese. So so the last one, as I said, is going to be kind of a bonus here. 163 already? Oh yeah, 163, not 3. 320, 331, 338, 342. 345. We are just okay, good. 349, 351. Okay, good. We're good. All right. That means now we get down to the last one. And let's see here. Let's see if I can get the right view here. Means we will take this off. Shake off the extra dredge. And very carefully, because I don't want to splash myself. And we go. Well, that's interesting. Okay, where are those tongs? Here they are. There we go. Deep fried mozzarella brick, folks, not stick, brick. That's a whole 1 pound block of mozzarella that we've just coated and we are deep frying. Why? Because we can and because I've wanted to do this. So now we get to see the results. I'm betting it's not going to take more than a couple of minutes or so because look at the way this thing is going. In fact, yeah, I'm not even sure if I should put it on a tray, considering that there's a possibility there could be some gooey cheese. I had better dig out a plate of some kind. This one will probably do. All right. But yeah, anyway, love black olives and discovered the dollar store has them sliced in a can and they taste fresh. Well, congratulations. There's a little score for you there. Haven't posted a finished meal cooking cast iron lately. Well, sorry about that, Papa Dan. Let's deep fry some Snickers bars and Twinkies. Well, we're already getting on to an hour and 20 minutes, unfortunately. So I'd have to prepare another batch of batter for Twinkies, regrettably. But yeah, I know that certainly is tempting. But I could have done Twinkies instead of this, but I wanted to do this cheese just to see what happens. I would really like to know what happens. So I think I should probably turn it over once. Oh, look at this. It's starting to brown. Oh, I think we're getting done, folks. All right. Let's get this out quickly. Here. Oh yeah. Check this out. In fact, I think I better put it down on the table and take a picture of this too. So let's move over here. Here's the chicken. And here is deep fried mozzarella brick. All right, I know I'm going to have to cut into this thing before it hardens, but let me quickly get at least one shot of this, one picture here, because this is amusing. Boy, is this amusing. And now that we've done that, let's dig out a knife, shall we? Need something like this, but still, we move this chicken out of the way quickly. Yeah, there's all the mess underneath. Yes. Like I said, that's my mess. I will clean it up. I promise. Okay. Let's get this over here. Trying to do this so that I can give you as good a shot as possible. Let me move this down, in fact, a little bit. Because, yeah, we'll probably call it a night after this. Thank you very much, everybody, for your patience. But still, here is our deep fried mozzarella brick. Where did that fork go? Here it is. Great. Better pull out another fork. Because, yeah, this is the part where you just have to cut it and see what happens. And here is the result. Nice crispy crust. Here. There we are, folks. Deep fried mozzarella. It is actually still cool on the inside, believe it or not, even though the outside is definitely toasty. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love mozzarella. You know, I bet I could have even left it in for about another minute or so. Well, I'll have to try it next time. All right, but nonetheless, there we go, folks. We've got, we did some deep frying tonight, especially so that I could play with the Dutch oven on our gas stove, which reminds me, I better turn the stove off. There we go. And having said that, here is one last look, I guess, at the Birmingham Stove Range number 12 Dutch oven. It's a Century Series Dutch oven, probably from the 1960s. And yeah, I am quite happy with this. About the only way I think I would ever get rid of this is if I found a Red Mountain number 12, a real Red Mountain number 12, which would be nice. And I honestly would not have a use for two Dutch ovens. But until that day, this has really gotten a lot of use, and it's going to continue getting a lot of use. I'm so glad. I've said this before as well, in that I recommend to everybody, if you are into cooking at all, especially with cast iron, take the time and investment, or maybe get yourself a really good score and do at least one really big cast iron pan, whether it's a big Dutch oven or a big skillet or a deep fryer or something. You will not regret it. You will get a lot of use out of at least one big cast iron pan or pot in your kitchen, more so than you might think. Because, as I said, here's just one example. We made gumbo last week. We deep fried chicken in this one. And yeah, that's barely even scratches the surface of all the things you can make in a cast iron Dutch oven. So, having said all that, okay, well, good luck if you're still hungry, Papa Dan. But thank you once again, everybody, as well. I enjoyed myself tonight. Deep frying is a lot of fun. There's really nothing else I could say about that. I mean, besides the fact that it's produced some really good food here. I mean, heck, I've got all this chicken and mushrooms to work through. But I mean, it is a lot of fun doing this. And really, that's the whole point. Because if it wasn't fun, why bother? And yes, I mean, really, cooking in cast iron certainly helps make this a lot of fun, and that's a big reason why I fell in love with cast iron anyway. So, even in fact, again, it was Alton Brown who, in his very first episode of Good Eats, he actually said that, if you want cooking to be fun, and we're here to see that it is, you've got to have the right tools for the job. And he said that as he was looking for a cast iron pan. So there we go tonight. As I said, we made some fried chicken and fried mushrooms and fried cheese, all of which I enjoyed the results. And I can only thank everybody once again as well for taking the time to nearly to be here. I mean, good grief, we've got 97 people here still, even now. So at least I'm glad I kept people interested this long. And hello, Jerry, 1952. You are here, and we are just about done. Unfortunately, we've been here for almost an hour and a half, and we've cooked some chicken and mushrooms and cheese. I need a 12-step program. You have if your idea of a 12-step program involves taking 12 steps to get past all of the cast iron in your home, you might have cast ironitis. So, and thank you very much, Papa Dan. And hello, Corey Clark. Yeah, bets I use them for outside cooking. Yes, we haven't even gotten into outside cooking, have we? That's why, as I said, use at least one big cast iron pan. So you will enjoy it and you will get a lot of use out of it. And thank you everybody as well to Cynthia Wesley and Val's Black Cat's Rules. Yeah, we didn't see Peg Tooth tonight. I do hope she's doing okay. She can always comment as well. And Louis J, Cast Iron Cooking, and yeah, say hi to your kids as well, Louis J. You might want to make some chicken with them, I guess. And everybody else is Bob S. and Debbie and William Hurt and Christine Borgatti. And yes, thank you everybody for who shows up here week after week, and especially thank you to people who show up here for the first time. And I can only hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Baron Google search, yes, Google search, nice name. I have an aluminum Dutch oven. I have a Wagner Magnolite Dutch oven, in fact. So we'll be taking that out soon enough as well. So thank you again, everybody. Oh, and by the way, one last thing. It's October, folks. We're getting into the witching hour and the witching season once again. So I think that means next week we're just going to have to break out the cauldron. And having said that, I guess we will come to a close tonight. And yes, thank you, everybody. Good night, all, and have a good week, as Neo says. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. See you next Wednesday, folks. Have a good evening.